Neil McDonnell here. I wanted to provide you a small business success tip based on DevOps. I think DevOps should be used by everybody, no matter what type of government contracting business you have. If you think about it from DevOps, then you'll succeed in the end on having a good relationship with the customer and being able to accomplish the work. So for a baseline, let me just help everybody understand what DevOps is. For a lot of us in the IT space in particular, we know what it is, but I just want to state it on a very straightforward level what DevOps is. So DevOps stands for development and operations, right? DevOps. And if you think about Dev is software development in this example, and Ops is the operational folks, the back-end operations of an organization or an agency that maintains those databases. So if you think about Dev, they're the ones who create an email system. And you think about Ops, they're the ones who run the email system for life, basically. I know this is really basic. I'm not trying to teach DevOps. I'm trying to teach the idea of what DevOps can teach every government contracting small business. So you got DevOps. Let me show you how it works. Typically, you've got Dev here. This is Dev. And on the other side, you've got Ops. So Ops is here. And what traditionally has happened is that development would develop an application. Let's call it an onboarding thing. Say you join the Department of the Navy and you're going to be onboarded as an employee, as a contractor, etc. And they build an application that automates the process for you to get your information in, get paid, get a security clearance, get a computer, all that stuff that takes to get a new employee or a new contractor into an agency. So the development folks work together and create an application. Then what happens is, and this is the problem in typical traditional development, is they throw it over the wall to Ops and they say, hey, here's our beautiful app. Why don't you deploy it and get it running and we'll see what happens. Now the problem that DevOps tries to solve, one of them, of course there's all sorts of stuff that can go into this, is that developers throw it over the wall to Ops and then operations tries to deploy it or put it into they try to implement it, roll it out, right? And it doesn't work. And so then Ops says, hey, development, you got to screw app. And then Dev says, no, Ops, you don't know what you're doing. You can't deploy our apps correctly. There must be something wrong with your entire operation that our beautiful, perfect app doesn't work. The reality is neither one of these teams are working together. And so DevOps, from the very simplistic, DevOps says, screw that, let's get these teams working together. And so instead, what we did was we take my blue pen, which represents development, and basically, instead of the wall, they're engaged throughout the entire life cycle. And this life cycle means the users over here are actually starting to use it, right? So there's development, that's their squiggly line, and right with them is Ops. And so in this case, Ops is here, and hopefully you can see my DNA strand. Basically what this DevOps is doing is bringing Ops forward in the life cycle, getting them engaged much earlier, and so they can contribute, right? They can say, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that. And then they're taking development and sending them farther into the life cycle so that they can say, hey, watch out for this, watch out for that. But they're working together as a team. Even though there's two different departments, they're still working as a team towards the mission. Instead of the mission being throwing it over the wall back and forth at each other, the mission now is to deploy it for the Department of Navy to use. One thing you'll notice is there's no wall. When you have development and Ops, there's no wall. So the lesson I want to provide for you is whether you're doing construction, background investigations, or application development, you choose whatever you're doing, you still have this basic concept of DevOps. Let me give you a quick example. Say you're building, what we're doing is building a new hospital for the Department of Veterans Affairs, right? And so you've got, we have DevOps here, right? But instead, think about it this way, is you got, the Dev is now the construction crew, and the Ops is the clinicians, clinical, the people who run the hospitals, right? So these are the ones who build the application. These are the ones who sit there and maintain it and keep it running. These are the ones who build a hospital. These are the ones who use the hospital to take care of veterans that are out there. If the construction people aren't paying attention to the real needs of the clinical staff, then we're not going to be able to take care of the vets very well, are we? And if the clinical people aren't giving feedback way early in the process to construction, then they're not going to be able to do it. So if you break down this barrier of them against us, you have different stakeholder groups working together all towards this same focus. The reason I tell you this, and another example is background investigations. Inside of an agency, you do all the paper preparation, all this kind of stuff. We fill out our forms and answer every single question. Then we throw it over the wall to OPM or wherever it goes, right? And then they do their thing, and they get mad at us because we don't fill out paperwork out properly. We get mad at them because it takes too long. But what if we actually integrated this whole concept of DevOps way beyond application development, but into everything we do? And all you have to think about is, I'm just trying to break down that us against them mentality. We do this in the small business world in the Hub Zone Chamber, for example, where I'm at, where we don't blame contracting officers in the government for why we don't get as much small business contract awards as we want. And they shouldn't be blaming us for not being able to do certain type of works. No, we can do the work and they can get engaged earlier. So the more we intertwine each group of stakeholders, the more chance that the mission gets done. For all of us, independent of our little squabbles, we're all focused on the mission, whether it's taking care of the vet, rolling out a new application, getting a background clearance processed. DevOps will integrate that. I'm not speaking to my DevOps enthusiasts out there. I'm really trying to introduce this concept. And here's my challenge to you. If you really don't know anything about DevOps, you have 4 more days this week, because I just posted this video on a Monday, which is not really totally true because I don't know when I'm going to post this video, but I'm just saying this. And my point is, take 4 lunch hours and watch 4 videos on DevOps. Eat a sandwich, take 30 minutes, watch a video out there, and that doesn't matter who created the video, watch it. And see what they say about DevOps, and watch it from the most simplistic, basic standpoint, and you'll find some tips in there that I think you can implement into your projects and the type of work you do with your customers and with other stakeholders, and you'll find that the process goes a lot smoother and we're able to get products out the door that serve the end user's goals. So think about DevOps, and remember, government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process.